What is up, Algebra 2 students? This is lesson 79, well, at least the second part of it, where we talk about 45-45 triangles. And our objective is just simply how do you work with and solve 45-45-90 triangles. Well, I guess the first thing we should think about is where do these triangles come from? And they show up a lot because if we have squares, remember where all the side lengths are the same, and you were to cut one in half, remember every angle in a square is 90 degrees. If you were to cut that in half, that would give you a 45 and a 45 on both sides. So we can kind of get this triangle here, you see, that is a 45, 45, 90. Now, if we call each side length x, and we're looking for this length here, the diagonal, I'll call it h for now, because I'm calling it the hypotenuse, I would know using Pythagorean theorem that x squared plus x squared is going to equal to h squared. Well, x squared plus x squared is 2x squared. And if I'm trying to solve for that h squared, then I'm going to need to take the square root. Now technically I need to say plus or minus here because I'm taking the square root of something squared, but since I'm talking about a length, I know that I wouldn't have a negative length. So it's going to have to be the positive one, so I'll just assume that it's positive. Well, the square root of h squared just gives me h. And the square root of x squared is x, but the square root of 2 is just the square root of 2, so this is going to be x root 2. So that kind of brings us to the relationship side length of 45, 45, 90. This side length is x, this one is 2, and this one is x root 2. So let's see if we can take that and use it. So here I'm trying to solve for m and n. I'm looking at number 6. So I'm going to draw the one that I know is similar here. The side length is x, x, x root 2. And I'm noticing that x is going to be equal to square root of 2. So x is equal to the square root of 2. And that means this is also equal to n. So that's half my answer here. N is equal to the square root of 2. And then if I want to find m up here, I know m is equal to x root 2. And I know what x is equal to. That's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which is going to give me the square root of 4, which is just equal to 2. So then m is equal to 2. Trying number 4 here. This is x root 2. So really all I need to do is I need to figure out what this x is right here, and that would tell me what those two sides are, what m and n are. So I'm going to say this is equal to this. So I'm going to say 4 square roots of 6 is equal to x root 2. To get that x by itself, I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. Those two become 1, and I end up with x is equal to 4 times, well, I'm going to write like this, 6 over 2, which is equal to 4 root 3. That's what this side length and that side length is equal to. And that's actually the same thing as m and n. So I'm going to say m is equal to n, which is equal to 4 root 3. Okay, one more here that might seem a little bit scarier, but I think we can get it okay. So we'll just draw our triangle. X, actually I'm not going to use x's this time because I have x's and y's. I'm going to say a root 2. So I know a is equal to this. That means this side, or this side, is also equal to that. So y is equal to 5 root 2 over 2. And then I just got to figure out this x one here. Well, if I know what a is equal to, this namely, I just need to multiply it by the square root of 2, and I'll find out what that is. So then x is going to equal to 5 root 2 over 2, because that's what this a is right here, times square root of 2, and I'm going to write it over 1 just so I don't get confused on where it goes in my fraction. Well, this is going to be 5 times square root of 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, over 2. It's going to be 5 times 2 over 2. Those 2's reduce, and that just gives me 5. So x is equal to 5. I'll do one more here for you. You have a few of them like this. And just a quick recall. These are what we're working with today. But it's kind of the same idea as working with a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And 30, 60, 90 triangle has x is the shortest length, 2x is the longest length, and x root 3 is the middlest length. Yes, I say it's a word. If you disagree with me, sorry, you can be wrong if that's what you want. All right, so we are going to work with this one, and I'm going to look at just this 45, 40, 90 triangle right here for a second. And I know that these side lengths are the same. So this side length is 6, that side length would be 6. And based on this right over here, the side length over here would be 6 root 2. Now that brings us to our 30, 60, 90 triangle, which I'm going to draw right here. Not very exactly. This one's going to be 30, this one's 60. So I know this side length right here is 6 root 2. But I know that by my ratios over here, this shortest length is x. This one up here is 2x. This one here is, maybe I shouldn't be using x's because my answer is actually an x. I'm going to use a's again. This is a, 2a, and this is equal to a root 3. So let me see if I can figure out what a is. To figure out what a is, I'm going to need to divide by the square root of 3. So that means I'm going to get a is equal to 6 root 2/3, or I don't like writing it that way. I'm going to back that up a little bit. I'll just write it like this: 6 root 2 over root 3. But I don't want to leave radicals in the basement, right? No radical parties in the basement. So I'm going to multiply by square root of 3 over the square root of 3. The top is going to give me 6 square roots of 6, because that 2 times is 3. And the bottom is going to be the square root of 9, which is just 3. And then I can reduce 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 two times. So a is going to equal to 2 square roots of 6. But I'm not looking for a. Notice I'm looking for that 2a. That's in that position there that I'm looking for. So to find out what 2a is, 2a is going to equal to x. So it's going to be 2 times 2 root 6. Because a is equal to 2 root 6. So that means x is going to equal to 4 root 6. And that's the answer that I'm looking for right here, is that x. Alright, you got like 3 more like that, and you got a few more like the ones on the previous slide, but I'm sure you can get that. Your homework is a worksheet, and all of them that I did in this example is on your worksheet, so good luck with that.